Dakota's lawsuit against the NCAA will stay in state court. A federal judge ruled the case should be heard in Brookings County instead of moving to federal court as the NCAA had requested. Attorney General Marty Jackley and the Board of Regents argued the College Association's $2 billion settlement unfairly burdened smaller schools, sticking South Dakota's universities with an $8 million price tag. The state is now pushing for an injunction to force a vote on how schools will pay. A hearing date has not been set.